Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Cowboys QB Dak Prescott takes swipe at Jerry Jones. Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott had a stern message in response to Jerry Jones' recent comments about their extension talks. The Cowboys are trying to negotiate a long-term extension with Prescott and want to get it done before Week 1. Prescott knows work is getting done behind the scenes but isn't concerned about anything Jones says publicly, a lesson he's learned over his 8 seasons with the Cowboys. "I stopped, honestly, listening to things," Jerry Jones says to the media a long time ago, Prescott told reporters on Thursday, August 29. "It doesn't really hold weight with me." Prescott's comments were seemingly in response to what Jones told the media the day prior. "You could easily say, if you haven't seen it by now, you haven't seen it," Jones said. Dak's situation right now, for me, has more to do with our situation than it does with the merits of Dak Prescott being the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. Jones also gave some of his typical long-winded and hard-to-follow responses but noted he wasn't bent out of shape about Prescott entering the final year of his contract. "There are all kinds of things other than a contract that could change the outcome of him being under contract, injury, level of play," Jones said. "So you can't just pick that and say that should give you a better feeling about our team or me a better feeling. The whole thing has a lot of moving parts. Now, I can live with that, because we play a game that it can change on the next play." Prescott also put pressure on the timing of his extension. He made it clear that it is important to him to get it done before the season kicks off on September 8 against the Cleveland Browns. "I think it says a lot if it is or if it isn't," Prescott said. He added that if it isn't, it would show how people feel. Prescott has significant leverage in his contract negotiations. His next deal is projected to reset the quarterback market, with an expected annual salary exceeding $55 million, setting a new benchmark for the position. Prescott said earlier this offseason that he does not plan on taking any kind of discount. "I'm a guy that grew up with 2 older brothers," Prescott said on August 2. "You understand what a brotherhood means, not only for just this team but the fraternity of the NFL and the players. The money is out there and the money can happen. It can be done. There's ways to make everything work for both ways. That's in that sense it's always about pushing the envelope for the next man." The good news for Prescott is that he recently got his top weapon back. CeeDee Lamb inked a 4-year, $168 million extension on Monday, ending his holdout and getting him back in the Cowboys facility. The Cowboys don't have a ton of time before their opener, but Prescott is not worried about his connection with Lamb. "We've had 3 practices. Good to go," Prescott said. Lamb finished last season with a league-high 135 receptions for 1,749 yards and 12 touchdowns. He said that there's no question he'll be ready to roll for Week 1 after missing all of the preseason. Skip Bayless rips Cowboys after Brandon Ayuk news. Big news hit the NFL landscape on Thursday afternoon when Brandon Ayuk and the San Francisco 49ers agreed to a 4-year, $120 million contract extension that will keep him under contract through the 2028 season. The 49ers have now resolved a key issue that threatened to torpedo their chances of winning their first Super Bowl championship since the 1994 season. The Dallas Cowboys, one of their biggest historical rivals, haven't won at all since the 1995 campaign, and they're in far worse shape, as quarterback Dak Prescott and pass rusher Micah Parsons are due for big extensions of their own. They also have some real roster holes and made meager additions to their roster this offseason, which led Skip Bayless, a well-known Cowboys diehard, to blast his team for not spending nearly as much money as the Niners have in order to go after the Vince Lombardi Trophy. Days ago, the Cowboys did make some real progress by giving star wideout CeeDee Lamb a huge extension that will pay him $136 million over 4 years. But the Prescott situation is one that is causing a great deal of angst for Cowboys fans. It is looking like he won't get an extension before the season begins, and while he likely won't hold out, there seems to be a real possibility this will be his last year in Dallas. Meanwhile, the team has a weak running back room, no real WR2 behind Lamb and a questionable offensive line, and now they also need some help in the secondary after star cornerback Darren Bland suffered a stress fracture that will cost him at least 4 games. Cowboys Dak Prescott fires subtle message to Dallas amid contract extension saga. Dallas Cowboys star quarterback Dak Prescott subtly vented his frustration when speaking about not having a contract extension completed by this point of the offseason. The Cowboys finally reached a deal with CeeDee Lamb on August 26. Micah Parsons didn't get an extension, but his 5th-year option was exercised. This leaves Prescott and head coach Mike McCarthy as the odd men out, as both enter the regular season on expiring contracts. When asked what Prescott took from not having a deal done, the signal caller was candid via Todd Archer of ESPN. "I think it says a lot if it is, or if it isn't, done," Prescott said. "But however, doesn't really matter to me, to be honest with you. And because the deal isn't completed? Just shows how people feel," Prescott said. Clearly, Prescott is speaking of how Jerry Jones feels, and the Cowboys general manager was asked what else he needs to see from Prescott, but he didn't say much. "You could easily say, if you haven't seen it by now, you haven't seen it," Jones said. "I'm such a fan of Dak's and appreciate all of the great things that we all know that is there. And I appreciate his work ethic more than anything out here. I can't tell you how proud I am that we've got him this year to start this campaign. So proud that he doesn't want to pay him for next year, though. When you look at a situation, you've also got to weigh, okay, what are the consequences of the other side of the coin? And so Dak's situation right now for me, for my mirror, has more to do with our situation than it does with the merits of Dak Prescott being the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys." Prescott is in the final year of his contract. In March 2021, he signed a 4-year, $160 million contract extension. That deal now leaves Prescott as the 15th highest-paid quarterback in the NFL, between Matthew Stafford and Daniel Jones. To be fair, since 2022, Jones has one playoff win, the same number as Prescott. And in his career, the Cowboys QB has a 2-5 record. Dak Prescott said he does not need a contract extension to be done before the season starts September 8 against the Cleveland Browns. But Prescott added, "I think it says a lot if it is, or if it isn't, done by then." More via Prescott also addressed the uncertainty and whether this will be his last year with the Cowboys. "You gotta love it. You gotta embrace it. That's the challenge," Prescott said. "We as the players and the coaches don't have the full say in whether we're here or not. It's about us controlling what we can. It's about sticking together. Yeah, it's now." The Cowboys will begin their 2024 regular season evaluation of Prescott on the road against the Cleveland Browns on Sunday. And you fan? What do you think of the situation of Dak Prescott? Leave your opinion in the comments.